The 2025 season began with an unexpected step backwards. During an inspection, we discovered that the wood fiber boards we had previously installed had developed mold. Because of this, we decided to remove all of the wood fiber boards. However, in order to do that, we first had to remove the entire facade. It wasn't ideal, but sometimes construction projects require you to adapt and move forward. After removing everything, we had to decide what solution to use next. Eventually, we chose to continue building the house using hempcrete. Once that decision was made, we completed the preparation work and began installing the hempcrete. We intentionally did this work early in the spring so that the hempcrete would have enough time to dry properly, because this material requires quite a long drying period. The next step was to build the foundation for the chimney. After finishing the chimney foundation, we had to fill the floor area with sand up to the required levels. The sand was then carefully compacted to properly prepare the base for the future floor structure. Before installing the thermal insulation, we also needed to build the sewage system. The work itself isn't very complicated, but it must be done carefully and accurately. One challenge we faced was that the sand trenches kept collapsing, so we had to constantly wet the sand with water to keep the trench walls stable. At this stage we also installed the fresh air supply pipe for the fireplace. Next came the preparation of the floor base, leveling the sand, installing the protective film, and placing the insulation layer. For insulation we used 50mm XPS boards in 2 layers. After installing them, we sealed the joints between the boards to prevent concrete from flowing between them and to stop moisture from moving upward. Once the insulation was complete, the floor was reinforced with steel mesh. On top of the reinforcement mesh, we installed the underfloor heating pipes. It was very important to keep each heating loop as close in length as possible. After this work was finished, the 12 cm concrete floor was poured. I have to say I am very satisfied with the result. As the construction season was coming to an end, we still had an important task left. The hemp concrete walls needed to be covered with lime plaster. We applied the plaster directly onto the hempcrete walls, and afterward we reinstalled the wooden facade that had been removed earlier in the spring. At this point, the project was finally back on track and moving forward again. As you can see, the windows have now been installed. Later in the autumn we continued working on the second floor facade and finishing the roof overhang structures. Following the construction sequence, the next task was installing structural ceiling boards. This job took quite some time. It's not particularly complicated work, but it is very time-consuming and requires precision. And with that, we successfully completed the 2025 construction season. Thank you for joining us on this journey.